There we go. That probably did it. I'm using a very thinned down burnt umber with mineral spirits as per usual. There we go. Yeah, there we go. The other day, I was talking about him, and I pronounced it Guston instead of Guston. Why? I'm not really sure. I'm probably making this too large, but we're gonna go with it. I don't know why I edited the photo down to this, other than I was thinking of the square format, because the original is not that much bigger. There's not much more information on it. Let me pull it up. In fact, I haven't done that. Reference image. I found some interesting information about um, him. I did not know that much about him. So, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What are you doing today? Feel free to chat and whatnot in the comments. This is a very, excuse me, a very laid back master study. We are not formal around here. Let me wipe that off. As you can see, the image that the reference image is cropped down a little bit from the original. And I don't know why I cropped it that much. But that's where we are. I found him very interesting. I did not know that much about him. Let me just start in, because he's an interesting guy. I knew very little about him. I had a studio, what would you call it? Not associate, but a person that shared my studio, or the studio space, in grad school, that studied him for a bit. And I think it was him. Let me get these little watermelon seeds on here. I know they're black on the... As soon as I get this put on there. His color palette, for starters, titanium white, cadmium red, yellow ochre, and then a Mars black, which some of you that know the Zorn palette will be very familiar. It also said he used a cool gray, or like a light cobalt blue. I put out some Payne's gray there, but I really think I failed to get that's a cobalt. Come on, baby. Get on in there. Let me grab the tube of that cobalt. It's just right over here somewhere. There's ultramarine. Where are you, cobalt? Where are you hiding? Viridian. it doesn't look like it's, there it is. Ah, here's my cobalt blue. And if this gives you an idea, well, never mind. We'll talk about pigments and stuff here in a minute. I had that one I had from last week in my sketchbook or in my book. Excuse me. Give me just a second. I'm gonna take a drink of. I took a drink of my iced coffee. Let's see. Let's go back. What the matter, Poncho? Poncho's whining. Let's get this kind of sketched out really loose. Again, I'm just using mineral spirits, and this is not how he necessarily would have done it, because these outlines are black for one thing. Oops. That's right. There's that one. That one. What the matter? Somebody wants a TREA. Oh, he heard it. He heard that word. You want one? There you go. I have a jar of you-know-whats for him. Okay, let me go through some of his biographical information so we can know more about him. He was born in Montreal, Canada, but he was raised in LA. See, I'm cropping this even more. I'm not, yeah. Oh well. It's a study, right? It's a study. He was originally trained in social realistic style, painting murals influenced by Mexican muralists such as Diego Rivera. No, you don't need another one. They said you don't need one. I heard them say it. They said, nope, no more for Pancho. Nope. It's all their fault. I'm sorry. I was going to give you one, but, they said no, so. He was also a close friend of Jackson Pollock, which is kind of cool. He often used a limited palette dominated by cad red, titanium white, Mars black, yellow ochre, and occasionally a cobalt blue light. And that I've got some cobalt blue there. And this may look just like a very simple one. And I was afraid, honestly, to say those words, because every time I do, they wind up being more complicated to finish for me than I would care to admit. He was born in 1913 and passed away in 1980, so he was alive during my lifetime. Okay, well, I'm going to take this and take off some of this extra pigment on here. Just so the colors are truer. Because it's just got mineral spirits on it, see, that one's not even smearing now. It dries pretty quickly on this paper. The paper has been gessoed, but probably should put on a second layer. I always say that, then I never do it. I had to start a new sketchbook because the white in my other one, if you'll remember from last week, I had the week before like bent over because it was still wet. Well, last week's was still wet too. And rather than try and deal with it, I just started a new one, a new sketchbook. That's what I have the sketchbooks for, right? To use. So that's not. Okay. Do, 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 do. I hope you all had a great weekend. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's get to some more bio, some more info on Mr. Guston. In the 40s and 50s, I'm going to go at this reverse, by the way. I'm going to go over this with white so it covers some of these areas that got out of control. He was an abstract expressionist, which actually is what most people, well, that's what my painting instructor was, or is, he's still alive, at university. That goes over there. Oh, that goes doo-doo. There's a little doo-doo right there and a little doo-doo right there. I don't have this exactly. I realize that. Study, not a copy. Study. In the late 60s and 70s, he made a radical shift back to figurative painting. And I guess it shocked the art world. They did not expect it. There's one, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word on YouTube, but it has 3 Ks in it that he did. Well, it mentions it. It mentions painted cartoon-like figures, hooded, triple K, members, everyday objects, shoes, clocks, cigarettes. His style was raw, satirical, and politically charged. I have white on my paintbrush here. Just kind of clean up some of those. I figured why my paint wasn't drying from last week's was because of my white. I'm using a Paul Rubens white, and I love this paint. It's very creamy. It has a kind of a heavy, thick. It's creamy, but not too. It's not. It's not. It's not like buttercream frosting. It has more of a. It's a little thicker than that. But anyway, I figured it was because of that. So I looked up why this was so. Why was it taking so long to dry? And apparently, Paul Rubens puts a lot of oil in their paint to get it have that buttery consistency, but that also means it takes longer to dry. And I tend to use a thicker white on mine. I don't know why. I just do. This needs to be over here. He had themes in his work: social justice, racism, violence, and corruption. His personal struggle, he had depression and self-doubt, everyday banality mixed with dark imagery. I do remember the one with the hoods. I remember seeing it in uh, in the past. I looked up some that I could share with you of his. So that you could get an idea of what his other works look like. The one for this study is called Cherries with Ladybugs in a Bowl or something like that. Um, I'm pretty sure. Cherries, yeah, okay. Let me show you the other one that he did, if it's saved like it was supposed to. I'm just getting it so you can see it. This one he titled Studio. As you can see, it's very cartoonish, and it's very kind of just graphic and not. Got to see Lord of the Rings Fellowship in theaters for the first time. Oh, that would be awesome. Inspired by some of the visuals. Have you seen K-pop and the Demon Hunters? There's a reason I ask. Because there's a lot of Korean art history in it. Come on, I'm trying to get my reference image back. But I can see you, yeah, Lord of the Rings. Oh my goodness. Do you have any work planned or sketched out or anything for? Have you got these ideas down on paper yet? Because I don't know about you, but if I don't get them down, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some of the red in after I get some of this. Whoops, that doesn't belong there. Some of this down. I'm using the paint straight out of the tube on this. I'm not mixing anything at all with it. This is just straight out of the tube. But I do have some walnut oil there, and that will slow down my dry time. See, I'm seeing things already that I did not see at first. There is an actual like shadow right here. I'm erasing that because it's a little further over to the left. I did have some good news the other day, and actually you are the first ones to know about it because I have not said anything to anyone on, well, no, I did in a, okay, you're the first of my community. I said something in a computer, in a YouTube group. But as of this weekend, I am fully monetized. I woke up yesterday, just checked things, and I earned my first 3 cents. Don't laugh. It's 3 cents that I wouldn't have had before. And that's from several days ago where I wasn't doing anything. So now my focus is going to be, has changed from getting as many watch hours as possible. I'm going to spend the next 3 months, well, what is this, August, September, let's say till the end of September, just off the cuff. I don't have a pen and paper in here. I should be writing this down because I know I'll eat my words if I don't. Anyway, it was 3:33 in the morning when I saw the 3 cents. And I know it's just 3 cents, but to me, it's a start, you know? What I really want to do, what my goal is, I want to have enough, I want to earn enough at this point. Short-term goal is to earn enough to buy me a really, really nice set of paints. Something that come on, something that I can just sit down with that brand's paint tubes, and I don't know why I'm putting white on there, and be able to use just that brand. Because let me show you. The blue, the cobalt blue, that's a Grumbacher Academy. I don't know when I got this. Payne's Gray Liquitex. I would bet this is probably about 35 years old. Nothing wrong with old paint. Nothing. Okay. Mars Black, another Grumbacher Academy. Grumbacher pre-tested artist oil colors. My yellow ochre. Utrecht Cad Red. Again, I have no idea how old these are. This is a newer tube. I bought this set of paints, which I'm glad I did. But I'd really like to have a set of like Michael Harding or, you know, something more professional than 5 different brands in one. Or be able to test brands so I would be happy with that. So I can buy like every color, every brand of Like, well, I use burnt umber a lot. So if I could buy every brand of burnt umber and compare the brands, I would be happy. So that's my short-term goal. Okay. Here, little sucker. Goes out there. That's probably my hubby. That goes down there. I forgot to silence my phone. I'm sorry. I silenced my phone. Let's find out some more about Guston. His legacy. At first, his ferreting return was mocked by critics, but now they see it as visionary. Are we surprised? Isn't that usually what happens? The critics make fun of something, and then such a nice red. That cad red is Utrecht. Utrecht I picture as like students have, because we always had a Utrecht catalog out on the like common area table. He influenced contemporary painters like Dana Schutz, Nicole Eisenman, and Amy Silman. His late work in particular resonates with today's conversations about politics, injustice, and personal vulnerability. And my notes talk about the one I just showed you. Well, it says that was the studio. I don't. I'm not. Let me do a Google image on it and see what it says. I think it's wrong. What I'm looking at. I don't want to tell you wrong. Nope, that's what comes up on Google Lens. So, his most famous works are the studio that we just saw, Painting, Smoking, Eating from 1973. By the way, the studio was from 1969. And then there's one called City Limits of 1969 that he is well known for. I know I'm probably using too small of a brush here. I would love to buy a really nice set of paintbrushes from Rosemary. I've kind of uh, picked and chose them, as I could get them. So anyway, that's my goal with my YouTube money. So don't be surprised if you see me testing a few things out over the next 6 weeks or so, especially. I think I messed up because there's that. There's that one. There's that orange thingy. And then there's that one. 1, 2, 3. These two are orange. And this one is red in there. That doesn't exist. And that is more of a pear shape, like that. It's orange, and it does have a red outline, so I'm okay putting that on there. I did a figure piece the other day that of my own that I'm really happy with. But I was thinking of it as the underpainting. Anyway, you don't. That's not why we're here. Musa Mayer, his daughter, one of his children, is quoted of saying, "From my father I learned that the injustice and cruelty of the world demand a response, and that above all, art should be real, grounded in authentic expression, questioning, and doubt." I think that is amazing. That's a great thing to teach your kids. That is awesome. I like this guy more and more. In her memoir, Night Studio, a memoir of Philip Guston, she revisits her father's world in a deeply personal way. I have not read it. It is called Night Studio, a memoir of Philip Guston. I said that twice just so it would stick in my brain too. I'll have to look at thrift books and see if they have a copy. If not, I have this wonderful local independent bookstore. Keeping his legacy alive, his daughter didn't just write about her father, she actively preserves his legacy. In 2012, she founded the Guston Foundation to maintain his work and make it accessible to researchers and the public. Speaking about her decision to donate about 220 of his works, including pieces he kept private, to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, she said, "After his death, my mother and I added other key works to serve as a lending collection for exhibitions. I felt it was important to seek a permanent home for his carefully curated collection, to serve as inspiration to be seen by future generations, and to be a resource for scholars." I feel like I skipped over something. I don't have all the information here. Guston was not his original name. Let's see. I think it was. Oh, I don't want to do that. No, 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 no. I just lost all the notes that I made. Let's see if I can save it. No, unfortunately. Philip. Come on, find it for me. Nope. Why this works is because he used warm reds of the cherries against cooler, stony backgrounds. You can't see it, but this background is not actually white. It's more of like a real pale violet, like a really cool grayish violet. Now this is white in here on the table, but this back here, all there, is like a He tended to work with a limited palette, as we went over earlier. Let's see. Doing that, having the red against a cool background as he did, it makes the cherries have a raw appearance to them and organic. I'm trying to find, I don't want to misquote. He was 66? Man, that's not that old. He was 66 when he passed away. I know that may not seem very young to some folks, but once you pass that big 60, it doesn't. His daughter, Musa, is still alive and written about him. Here we go. This is where I skipped. I found my notes. Okay. I'm going to try and get that orangey color. There's a little paint. Pink lump. Let's see how orangey this is. That's not orangey enough. We need more yellow. That looks dirty. Let's go ahead and add a little cat yellow just for and giggles. That's a little warmer. That's closer to. Closer to what we need. Let's get this one up here. There you go. And yeah, I know some of the lines are showing through. As we work, I will take care of that. got this way off. That should be over here, shouldn't it? That comes down here. I don't know where my head was when I was drawing this out. I think either something was just delivered or my husband just came in the door. You can tell from ponchos. You okay, boy? Yeah. That goes further over there. And that goes further up there. And this is why we do an underpainting. This over here is more see, his birth name was Philip Goldstein, and then he later changed it to Guston. I don't know why. I'd have to read his memoir, yeah, biography. And see, that goes down there. Man, I got that corner all messed up. Goodness gracious. I think it wouldn't be that hard. There we go. And that is more of a, yeah. Okay. Just a smidge of blue and just, I know he, yeah, see, that gives me a nice, nice grayish. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. He was born in June 27th, 1913, and his family moved to LA in 1919. See how that gray looks against that? It's nice. Just a reminder, this edge of the tape, there's nothing, there's no, yeah, it just goes right there. When I pull it up, it'll be a nice clean edge. I'm just trying to get that cool gray background. I put that Payne's gray out, but I kind of like this better. I think it's more authentic to his painting. really want to read his biography now. I do. And if you look at the original there real close, he's got the marks going up and down like that. Also, I'm going to start with a membership. You're the very first ones to hear about that. It did not take long for YouTube to okay it, which I'm glad to hear, because I've heard sometimes it can take weeks. They did it in like 2 hours, which was nice. All it is, I have just one tier right now, and it is just to support the channel. I plan on expanding that as we go to include private videos, live streams, but for right now it's just to support the channel. You see, I put that on so thick that that's going to take a little bit to dry, I'm sure. He has his white here very textured. Or his, the highlights. I haven't used the black yet. Not really. Heavy. My red compared to their red on the monitor. Let's see if I add a little of this, if that will pick up. A little of the alizarin. It said he didn't use that, but or it didn't say he used that, but yeah, that gives it a little more depth, closer to what he's got here. It is a very transparent paint, so maybe he did just like I did and used a mixture. It's not making that much difference, but to my eye here it does. These do not look orange at all to me. He just looked like a dirty red. I must have put some yellow ochre in there with it, and it just ate it up. Does that help? Somewhat, kind of, sort of. More yellow. Also maybe a little white in there too. Because I don't think it's like a neon yellow. I noticed the white, like I said, was taking a long time to dry. So I looked up the drying times of white oil paint. And it was interesting. Maybe that's where the ladybugs are. The ladybug picnic. Let me pull that back up. His family were Jewish immigrants from Odessa, fleeing persecution. Life was tough. His father struggled to find work and eventually died by suicide when Philip was 10. I'm saying that I know TikTok's really cracking down on using particular words. But we're not on TikTok, right? He loved to draw from childhood and was mostly self-taught. As a teenager, he set up a small studio in a closet. With a light bulb hanging from the ceiling so he could draw in secret. I wonder if this will work for this reddish, muddy color for the watermelon. I added just a dot of walnut oil. That's not too far off. has a little more yellow than white in it. That's too bad he had to draw in secret. I wonder if there was a reason because of that. If it was family didn't approve, or like I said, I'll have to read his biography. He married Musa McKim in 1937, and they met while they were both working for the WPA, which, if you're not from the US, the WPA was a program during the Depression that the government had, where they would put artists to work, and others, doing community projects. Like, for instance, an artist would do a mural. We have football stadiums built here. We have, what else? There were a lot of things. Zoos, yes, buildings that would benefit the public, and they used tax dollars to do it with. It was a great way to keep artists afloat, and others. My grandfather worked a WPA program to build a stone wall around an area cemetery where he lived. It's still there, and a lot of them were Irish immigrants, and some of the stones they arranged in these Celtic patterns. It's really cool. That would be a good video. He stayed married to her until his death. So wow, that's awesome. 37 and then 80, 50, 43 years. She was a painter and poet. Let me see what that looks like on your screen. It's a little more whitish, pinkish to me. Yeah, I don't think I've ever painted the inside of a watermelon. That's interesting. Yeah, the WPA, I know it's not, well, it's related to art, right? Wish my mother was still alive. She could tell us right off. I bet the museum there has something. I know, I'm just thinking aloud, sorry. The creativity tends to run in families, I find. And I have people on, particularly my mother's side, that were very creative. Not that my father's side wasn't, it was just different. I'm going to start putting in some of the blue, I think, before I put in some of the black. He's known to be introspective, brooding, and very self-critical. My husband would say that sounds like me. Despite his heavy themes, he also had a wry sense of humor that came through in his cartoonish later works. I bet somebody has already done a video on the Celtic patterns in WPA walls. Could be wrong. Could be wrong, I would think. I'm going to switch to a different brush. This is a Rosemary & Co. Ot or 0. And I'm changing to this so I can get some of this. I am going to use a little ivory black for this in here. I wonder if he changed his name because of anti-Semitism, or because of, I really need to read his biography. I just do. It's interesting that this is darker than what's back here. I'm going to redo some of this white. He suffered bouts of depression and anxiety, especially during the late 60s when he abandoned abstract expressionism for when he was being criticized so harshly. I think we can all understand that. when he passed away of a heart attack. He who was it? He lived most of his life in New York and then later in Woodstock, New York. His reputation grew greatly. Ooh, I got some red in there. We don't want red in there. After he passed away. At the time he was doing his figurative hooded series, he was often dismissed, and like many artists, once he passed away, it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's pretty cool. It's really sad. That's a reminder to buy from a living artist also. Okay, this over here. Let's see. I think that pretty much let's see. Younger audiences and fellow artists connect with him and his work when they hear the personal intent and context behind his radical style changes. See, why did he change? I'm going to cheat and I'm going to put it into AI. Why did Guston style change? No, won't let me. Let's just put it in Google. Why did Guston work change? This is due to a confluence of personal and political factors. That's according to Google. FYI. Trying to figure out the color of this melon or whatever that is. It's a green, but it's yeah, that's probably fairly, nope. Need more yellow and white. I will say, when I put in his name, why am I having such a hard time getting that green? It pulled up Beauty and the Beast with Guston. So I wasn't completely out in left field. pronouncing it that way the other day. He moved away from abstract expressionism that had defined his earlier career, embracing a figurative style with cartoonish, often disturbing imagery. Um, His change was partly driven by his response to the Vietnam War and the social and political unrest at the time, which he felt he could no longer ignore in his art. See, I gotta know this guy. I need to know this guy. He sounds like, yeah, my kind of guy. That's not even really that close, is it? Is that closer? No. I think that's closer. I assume that's a melon. Yeah, there we go. That's closer. I'm cheating and using a little bit of Viridian. Let's see how much closer it. I usually work in a very representational style, so this is very different for me. And it is a study, right? It's not a copy, it's a study. Just a strong reminder. For both you and I. We always have to do that. Because let's see. I want to test something real quick. I'm trying to get the color closer. No, that doesn't. That doesn't do it. Let's leave it right there. I was trying to adjust the white balance so that the colors would show up truer to to what I'm seeing, but I see that this is dipping down here. You don't want that. There we go, that's better. Let's see if I can get this reddish orange, whatever this is, back here. Maybe it's a rotten cherry. Maybe that's the ladybug he's referring to. Start putting some of that black in there, and we'll see more of the oops. There we go. There we go. I looked up the dry times of whites because I tend to just use basically what I have, what I can get my hands on of a titanium. I know I stay away from lead white, of course. Let me pull that up so I can see that. I'm going to change over to this thinner one. This Rosemary and Co. So let's see what I need to do there. I need to put in some red, wine. This looks very different without the black marks on it, but we'll get there. By golly. I made a post for the post section of my channel, and then I never hit publish. I'm going to add a little bit of walnut oil to the black. So that it'll lay more on top. So if you suddenly have a message from me that there is a post, that's what it is. Let's make sure we've covered all the information on Mr. Guston. I think we have. Most of what I have. Sorry, my arm keeps getting in the way there. It's me checking on things. I'm a one-man or one-woman operation here, and especially when we're live, it's I'm kind of sad that this is not in my other sketchbook, though. There was no way to do it with the paint being so wet. I was aware of. See if I can clean that up. wonder, I know this is a very amateurish question, but I wonder about the time spent on these for him. Was it something that he pondered about for days? Or was it honey, what do you have in the fridge? I really need to read that biography. I know I've already said that 1,000 times. What time is it? We've only been at it for an hour and a half. That's not that bad. Okay, let's get some more of this black in here. That one needs a little thingy of white. It's not pure white though. It's a study, not a copy. See, this one doesn't have a black outline. It just has the black stem. And then that. This is interesting. Very interesting. I should start playing music so you don't have to listen to me ramble. Let's see, that is pure white. So where are these dots up here? There's a dot in that one too. He liked his white dots, huh? This didn't have other than black. White chair. No pun intended. I'm going to start some music up so it's not so quiet. if you want to know history of him, I covered a lot of it at the beginning. This is Philip Guston, Guston. I think this is probably about as close as it's going to get. Okay. That wasn't bad. Like 2 hours. That's pretty darn good, I think. Granted, it was not a realistic. I don't know whether to leave that out to dry. I think I will. I know some people reuse them. Let's see how that works. Okay, let's pull off this tape here. Let's see what we've got. As always, I love that nice, clean, fresh line. Especially on something like this with a more of a graphic quality. That's really nice. Those are coming off really well too. I think that's the cleanest I've had the tape come off in a long time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put what it is. Philip Guston is how Google says to pronounce it. But it also pulls up Beauty and the Beast, where it's pronounced Guston. So we shall see. Since he shortened it, I assume to be more Americanized. Maybe detail. Gessoed paper. What is today? The 18th? Yeah. 7. Oh no, 8. 18. 25. Live. YouTube. Demo. Okay. I'm looking at it with the original here in front of me. This line looks more raw. I know, I need to quit messing with it. I know. Okay, I'm gonna call that it. Thank you for being here for this. I appreciate you more than I can say. I'm seeing some things I missed. Like that is very textured. I know it's not a oh, I see something else too. This has some like reddish spots on it. Oh, there's a little mark down there. It's really interesting the texture got on the different fruits. Okay, I am going to call that it. Thank you for being here, y'all. I appreciate you a great deal. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care of each other, stay safe, and I